It's worth highlighting, Tom, that for many, many people, they do not like what they hear and what they see around this story this morning. As Emily points out, today that was a successful mission for this company. There are many people, though, that would like to see Jeff Bezos do a whole lot more on planet Earth than what he's just done in the last 1 hour.
Yeah, and one of the stark things here, folks, is almost like an athletic locker room. They're breaking out the champagne. For those of you on Bloomberg Radio, we can always describe a champagne moment. Tim Stanovic, that is one of the stark differences here between private enterprise. You wouldn't see that with a government NASA effort as well. I mean, we're really seeing a private enterprise. Tim Stanovic, where does it go from here?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It goes a lot of different places. For Blue Origin, they have 2 more of these flights later this year. They're shooting for late September, early October. Unclear, as we heard earlier, how much those are going to cost. The company has much, much bigger ambitions, though, beyond space tourism. Jeff Bezos has talked about his vision for the future. He said in the past that if we can get 1 trillion people, that's right, 1 trillion people into the solar system, that means we have 1,000 Einsteins and 1,000 Mozarts. The idea is that the Earth cannot sustain us, and in order for materials, in order for energy, we have to explore further. You know, he was asked earlier this week about the idea that why focus on space when we have so many problems here at home? And his answer was, well, first of all, I think we can do both at the same time. And indeed, in recent years, he has increased his investments with his own philanthropy, but he is behind many other people of immense wealth. The other element of that is that he said it's always important for us to be exploring. It's always important for us to be looking ahead. And he says we can do both of those things at the same time. I
think it's right to sit on this conversation. Tom, you, like me, Emily, I'm sure as well, and Tim too. Over the last hour, we've built up to this moment this morning. For Blue Origin, a momentous occasion, truly historic. But for many people, the frustration, the amount of messages that I've received in the last 60 minutes criticising not just this coverage, but the event itself. Emily Chang, just to go over the mission statement of Blue Origin that you and I discussed a little bit earlier this morning, I think it's worth sharing a couple of lines with our audience. Blue Origin believes that in order to preserve Earth, our home, for our grandchildren's grandchildren, we must go to space to tap its unlimited resources and energy. For Jeff Bezos and others, Emily, there is no distinction between the work that needs to be done on Earth and the work that he thinks needs to be done in space.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think that Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin, part of the opportunity here is for them to explain that vision. This has been a very secretive company for 21 years. Until today, only 1 journalist had ever visited Blue Origin headquarters. Today, they're open to the national press. We are all here watching this moment and wanting Jeff Bezos to articulate what that vision is. Why is he spending so much of his money exploring space for this 11-minute trip up and down? How does that help us on Earth? And what he has said is, I want to continue living on Earth. This is the best planet. We love it here, but we need to protect it. We're going to run out of energy. We need to go to space in order to mine that energy from the sun, from the moon. We don't need to go to Mars. Mars is inhospitable. We will not enjoy it there. We don't want to live on the moon either. We want to live on these space colonies, as he's described it, where it's like Maui every day and you can go back and forth to Earth whenever you want. This is hundreds of years out, but he imagines big industry in space, residential and light industry here on Earth, and Blue Origin, he wants to be a huge part of the infrastructure in building out that space economy.
The eyes of the world on the desert land just outside of Van Horn, West Texas.